Hello and welcome to another episode of the Women's Basketball Talk Show. I'm Brandon Bice, joined by always head coach David Smalley. Welcome, Coach.
Thanks, Coach. Excited to be here. Coming off of a long weekend, long weekend. So we're happy to get this thing kicked off again.
Well, you ended the episode with you hope that we're all singing Kumbaya and being happy, and that means we have a lot of wins. And currently we're 3-0, so all that happened. Let's dive right into the review before we look ahead, and let's get into Miami-Hamilton. It was a big game for us. We broke the 100 points, and talk a little bit about it.
Well, the Miami-Hamilton game was our first home game, and I think that was maybe something that our players needed to experience because I felt we had some jitters and some nerves, but we came out and did some really nice things in that first half. I think it was 55 to 20 at the end of the first half, and we're kind of clicking on all cylinders and did some nice things. We had 6 people in double figures. Everybody got minutes and got to contribute. Thought that was a good start. Second half, as we always say, one of our mottos, always respect your opponents. They came out and played pretty well. And what I kind of liked about afterwards, you get to talk with people. And I was a little frustrated about the way the game ended up. They outscored us 51 to 50, I believe, in the second half. But my wife, who watched them play last year, said, that is a very good Miami-Hamilton team, which made me kind of take a step back and say, okay. And they were. They're very athletic and played hard, and they never gave up. So it was a great win for us. Any win is a great win, and I thought we got over the jitters, and like I said, we had 6 people in double figures. Everybody got to play. So I thought that was a good start to our season.
Absolutely. Early on, anytime that you get a chance to play the entire roster is good because you never know when you're going to need them later on in the season, and just to get the valuable in-game experience is just so much more different than practice reps.
Correct.
So that was good for that. Then we moved right on. After that, we went right into our second game at Pikeville. Not ideal for opening weekend to be going and playing a highly competitive team like that because you just don't know how well your team meshes early in the season. So one of the things that we wanted to do with the schedule was play a challenging schedule, and we're going to be road warriors. Whenever they won't play at home, that's a badge of courage. That means that's an honor that they only want to play you when they get that home game. And there we were with Pikeville. We had to travel to Pikeville. Hostile environment. Can you talk a little bit about that game?
Well, and you hit on a real important piece of information. We came off a very good year last year, and again, that's water under the bridge, and we can't live on last year. But we knew in order for us to reach the level that we need to and want to reach this year, we had to beef up our schedule. And you, being the person that did that, did a great job with that. And we, right out of the box, we know going into our preseason schedule, we have seven solid games, and 5 of those games are on the road, and some of those games are with ranked top 25 teams, and Pikeville is in that group. They're receiving votes, so they would be probably 27, 28, somewhere in that area. So that's the reason for the method of the madness from which we are working from. And there's the long-term goal is get through this, make ourselves better. We're not looking at being perfect. It would be great if we are perfect, if we don't lose, but we want to prepare ourselves for our conference, which is much improved, and then the national tournament. So down at Pikeville, which is a tough place to play. We did not play in the Expo, but we played in their home court, which it was so kind of cool for me because in the 90s and the early 2000s, we played there the entire time. And it was good, kind of a homecoming, and it's a good facility, but it's old, and actually I think it may have helped us out a little bit to be in that facility compared to the Expo. But I thought we came out, did some really nice things early, late in the game, did some really nice things. And then we have this tendency to kind of relax a little bit or let teams kind of get an advantage on us. But I thought we did really well. We had 4 people in double figures. We out-rebounded them by 10, and that's been one of the staples in our past. Out-rebound people, get to the free throw line, make sure that you're getting there 24-plus times. I love that number 24. I love that number 78. And if you can shoot 78% at the free throw line and get there 24 times, and I think that was a key for us in that game, and the fact that was a good team.
Oh, yeah. So on the road, playing a team like that, the Miami Hamilton were playing everybody. You really don't know where you're ranked. They pushed us in the fourth quarter to where, it was uncomfortable because we didn't feel they should have done what they did to us in the fourth quarter. We made those adjustments at Pikeville. I mean, at one point in the second half, we were up 26 points. If I tell you ahead of time that we're going to go to Pikeville and we're going to be up 26 at one time, you're going to tell me I'm crazy. But that was the focus from the team, from the coaching staff all the way down. And I think when we went there, we really showed it. Now, Pikeville put a run on. I mean, I don't care how good of a team you are. You're playing another good team. They're going to put a run together. And we were able to withstand it. Like you said, everybody played a part in helping. That's what's special about this team. There's not one person that has to carry the load on their shoulders. And as we talk about more games, you're going to see, I mean, that was one of the compliments from many of the coaches that we've came across early in the season is they're like, we don't know who to guard. We can't put an emphasis on one or two players because you have so many people who can score. And like you alluded to, all the people that we had in double figure at Pikeville. But again, solid big win early on with U Pike.
It was, and again, Darnell had 16, and Skeens had 18, and Leah Kreitz had 16, and Lexi Woods had 16. There must have just been something in the water. 16, 16, 16. That's so cool. And then Asia Williams, who's going to be joining us today, along with Miss Darnell. Asia didn't break his scoring. But you know what? I'd almost guarantee you Rochester saw some of that, and they thought, well, we don't have to worry about that little number 12 over there. Then she busts 20 up at Rochester, and we'll talk about that here shortly.
Well, that's actually kind of leads into a thing that I was saying. So, you have 4 or 5 people after the first 2 games averaging double figures. But, again, when we went into the Rochester game, which we're going to talk about now, is, Asia Williams and a Lavender Ward kind of, they run the point, and they don't have to score. They can. I guarantee you at any point this season, there's going to be more 20-point games out of Asia Williams. Lavender Ward's going to pop up with probably a 10-point, 10-rebound game. And Asia Williams is, I'm telling you, every day I go up and talk to her, I say, I need Steph Curry and Jordan Poole out of you. And because those 2 players create chaos. And Asia Williams has something special in her, like one of the girls going into the Hall of Fame, Bree Thomas. I mean, they create havoc and chaos out there. And that's exactly what Asia Williams did. Can you talk a little bit about that game?
Well, the dynamic duo of Asia and Lavender, in their own rights, on any year in the past, they would have been the ultimate starting guard for 40 minutes if they could be in shape. But I think what's creating a lot of problems for our opponents, we take one out and put one in, and they complement each other, and they do so many good things. I would not want to have to coach against 2 types of point guards coming in the way they do. So that's, and we'll knock on wood, and they're such good teammates. They don't get wrapped up in, well, I need more minutes or this, that, and the other. They both go in and get the job done. And then when that happens, that makes the rest of us even just a little better. So
let's talk about this. So we go up there. Every game you got to kind of fill out, how's it going to be called? And we knew that we were going into another conference. We're playing in Michigan. We'll see how it is. At first, they just let us beat each other to death almost. And then, we had to make adjustments, see what was going to be called for us, what wasn't going to be called for us. Again, here we are, third quarter. We got us a 10, 12-point lead. It was probably a 6 or 7-point game for most of the game, which, I mean, you're not going to go beat quality teams by 10, 12, 15 points every night on the road. The good teams beat teams no matter if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. But here we are, I think it was 67-69 with 4 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the game. We were down because they made a basket to go 69-67. Can you kind of talk about how early in the season that we handled that adversity and what you see out of this team because of the way they handled it?
Well, I think inside I was a volcano because I was losing it when we lost the lead, got down 2 points that you just mentioned. But you look out there on the floor, and those ladies out there, they kept poise and confidence, and we just kind of methodically kept getting right back into it. And then I think after we finally got a 1 or 2 point lead, I think we scored 12 of the next 13 points. So we needed that. I think in our minds, I think we needed that to get some confidence that it's going to be peaks and valleys going up against Bryan when we play them in the Bevo, and And that Cumberland team, they've got some things that concern me. And then you got Indiana Wesleyan. So we're going to be in those situations, and I think we can fall back and look at what we did up there and how we got back in that game. And then went to the free throw line. We went to the free throw line 35 times, made 28 for, drum roll, 80%. And we've been hitting that in the high 70s and low 80s, and we won that game at the free throw line.
Oh, absolutely. And, the mention usually, if you lead up from last year or this year, it's Ella Darnell. We could sit here and talk about them, the whole program. But it's the other people now that have kind of stepped up, because I don't know how your game plan is to stop those two with what all we have. Mm-hmm. And I think the pressure's been lifted off their shoulders as well, because I see them having confidence in their teammates that I won't say that they didn't have last year, but man, they really don't care to run the ball through their teammates now. Right. And we talked about Lavender coming off the bench. Two other strong players that are playing very well for us in the last two games and giving us good minutes. Reagan Willingham, and talk about a roller coaster of roles that she's went through at Rio. I think she's in the best shape she's been in. She hustles more than she's ever hustled. She sees the light at the end of the tunnel, and she's putting everything she has into her career being here at Rio almost coming to an end. And then Lexi Woods, who sat out a whole year and seen her whole career end for a year, mm-hmm. and now she's back. Can you kind of talk about what those three, Lavender, Reagan, and Lexi, have meant with the top rotation?
Well, it's comforting from a coaching perspective, and Reagan just has that confidence, and I think that started towards the end of last year, and she worked on that over the summer, and she has confidence. It's not over cockiness, it's just confidence, and she goes out and hits some big threes. She hit two for four up at Rochester last night, and that was huge for us. And then Mamacita, aka Lexi Woods, yeah. She's like that jet, and we talk about jets. We're not a missile. She's gaining. She's getting up, and every day she gets a little better. She's getting much more, I think, confident within herself, and she's getting back into that playing mode. And then, like we've already talked about, with Lavender coming in, and she and Asia are just a dynamic duo. And we got other players that I think are on the verge that's going to come and help us
Absolutely.
out. Natalie, and you
Marley.
got Marley, and you got it just depends, and sometimes you're just going to have to wait their turn. But I love where we are right at this particular point in time. I think everybody's rooting for each other, and that game last night, we out-rebounded them 13. That's not a bad team, and they had their best player out with an ankle injury. So I think we hit it just the right time.
Yeah, we'll take it. We're not giving it back. I'll put that on social media. We are not giving it back. All right, so let's look forward. We're 3-0. Now we got 3 more games. So by the next time we have this episode, it'd be great to be 6-0. So this weekend we have Bevo homecoming. We have 3 members of the women's basketball program going into the Hall of Fame. So can you kind of talk a little bit? Friday we're going to play Bryan College, who's currently ranked number 14, on our home court. Friday we're going to play Cumberland University, a Mid-South team. Kind of lead us into those two and what you expect, and kind of what the fans can look for.
Yeah, we'll talk about the games this weekend at the 40th annual Bevo Francis Classic or tournament. It's a classic for us this year. Brian, unbelievable team. I know this is your scout. You've been watching them. I've had the opportunity to kind of look them up. They have 68 of their 90.7 points coming back this year. We led the nation in scoring last year with 94.1. Brian was third at 90.7. 68 of those points are coming back. And they have a dynamic, I believe it's a freshman that's pretty decent. So it's going to be, I think, an up and down game. And we've already asked our assigner of officials, make sure you got officials that can get up and down the floor, brother, because they're going to work. They're going to earn their $215 per official. And if you look at their statistics from last year, the reason they averaged 90.7 point, 7 points per game. They shot 35% at the three, and they put a bunch of them up last year.
Yep.
They were 76% at the free throw line. They had 49.8 rebounds per game, and then they had 18.3 assists. So they were just right there, just nipping at our heels because we obviously did a little better than that. We got to just be focused and ready to go. And again, this is part of that scope of things that we're trying to bring in better teams. They're number 14 in the country, and that'll be a good notch in our belt to get that W. And it's at the Bevo. And then we have we talked about Cumberland University, which concerns me a little bit as well. Maybe this is a group that has the freshmen I'm concerned about. Cumberland Mid-South. Mid-South is historically one of the best conferences in the NAIA on women's basketball. They are 2-0. They've got some shooters. I know that they have Brittany Miller, number 32, 19.7 rebounds in one of her games. And this Freeman kid is pretty decent as well. So they have some length, some athleticism. We haven't played Cumberland's out of, is that Dayton, Tennessee? I think that's where they're from. We haven't played them recently. Now, we played them when we were in the Mid-South a few years ago, but a good ball club. So, Bevo, we got our hands full, brother.
Yeah, definitely. And then once we get past the weekend and all the festivities that come with it, hopefully we'll be 5-0. There's a new ranking, new polls coming out next week. But next Tuesday, the day before we'll have our next talk show, we're going to take a trip up to Mount Vernon. A rival, if we could play them every year, that'd be awesome. It's just, we both have great fan bases. Can you talk about when you play Mount Vernon, the rivalry kind of probably doesn't matter what the records are. Both teams are just going to get after it.
You throw the records out. Mount Vernon is also receiving votes in our division, so that's another reason that we wanted to play Mount Vernon. They have a beautiful facility for our players that haven't been up there. It may be a little adjustment. It's not as big as the Expo down at University of Pikeville, but it's a nice facility. Mm-hmm. Mount Vernon's now 2-2. They have a Maggie Coe, which I remember that name, 18 points in her last game. This is a team that has a freshman, number 22, Angela Roshak. She's had 3 double-doubles.
Yeah, they have
three double-doubles.
A Davis that plays pretty well, too.
And then Peyton Davis. So, again, I think it's another great test for us. It's back-to-back-to-back, and you realize after this Saturday, after Saturday's over with, we will have played 5 games in 10 days, if I remember adding it up correctly. Then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, do we go to Mount Vernon, or is it Wednesday?
We'll play them Tuesday, and then we got, I think Ohio Christian that Saturday, and then we head to Florida. I mean, we're living the lifestyle. We're the road warriors.
Yes. So the emphasis or the point, we have purposefully, with reason, done what we've done with the scheduling, and we talked about this, and sometimes you can fall flat on your face if you go 0-7 in those games that we're talking about. Doesn't make any difference. It's not helping you out. If you go 4-3, that's going to help you out. You go 5-2, you're going to get benefits. You go 6-1 or 7-0 in those ranked games, it's going to be Katie bar the door, possibly. This weekend is a big weekend for us with the Hall of Fame. You'd alluded to that we have 3 players going into the Hall of Fame, and I've got my notes here somewhere. Here they are. I believe 2012 through 2016, I could be off of my dates, but Sarah Bonar, I can't wait for some of our players to meet this young lady. All of our players are going to go to the banquet because we have some people in this program right now that 5 to 7 years down the road are going to be in that Hall of Fame. And if I have to wheel in a wheelchair, I'm going to be there because this is an exciting time. So Sarah Bonar, and one of the best players I've ever had. I mean, just
third leading scorer.
And just she was a captain as a freshman all 4 years.
All 4 years.
Leah Kendrow, 2007 through 2011. 5'10", 5'11", stretch forward, the true type of stretch forward, could shoot the ball. And then Bree Thomas, as you know, you're responsible for bringing Bree and that big post player from Maryland down here. We were actually looking at the post player, but we ended up with Bree, which was a good thing.
That's the best deal we could have made.
And we only had Bree for 2 years, and she just blew up things. So
if you're going into the Hall of Fame after 2 years, you've done something right.
Done something right. So it's an exciting weekend, and the Bevo Francis story is there. That we want to keep this story alive for the incoming teams and anybody that wants to know about Bevo and what his gang did during that time. And his wife, Jean Francis, is going to join us. And I want our ladies, I would love for them to just sit down for 15 minutes and just listen to this woman. She will rock their world, and this is a great weekend. It's great basketball, and we want to invite everybody to come out and watch in person, and come to the banquet if you want to come and see what it looks like to have three women's basketball players going in at the same time, along with Coach Earl Thomas.
Yeah, it's couldn't ask for a better Bevo weekend. We have 4 basketball people going into the Hall of Fame. So, Coach, we thank you as always, and now we're going to bring on a couple of our players. All right, welcome back. I am joined by sophomores Kaylee Darnell and Asia Williams. Welcome, ladies.
Hello. Glad to be here.
All right, so big weekend. We finally got away from playing each other, and then we had our 2 scrimmages. We got 3 games. We played for wins and losses. That's what we like. We got 3 wins. Can you kind of, Kaylee, you first, can you kind of talk about just where the team is chemistry-wise compared this year to last year? Each year's different. You lose people, you gain people. Sometimes people grow closer together, so your chemistry becomes better. Can you kind of talk about where we are this year with the team chemistry?
Yeah, I mean, this year, I honestly couldn't ask for better team chemistry. I mean, we're all best friends. Inside basketball, outside basketball, we're all hanging out together. So obviously that just helps us out in the court. So, I mean, it's not just about me all the time. I'm hyped up for my teammates if they do good. They're hyped up for me if I do good. So it's great to be have that friendship together because we're all excited for each other at the same time.
Yeah, and Asia, on the back side of that, can you kind of talk about your role compared to last year when you were backing up a 5th-year senior, probably future Hall of Fame point guard in China Chambers to being the person that has to keep everybody together and give the energy and effort all the time?
I mean, yeah, it's completely different because last year, I was practicing against China every day, which obviously made me a lot better. And then this year, you guys asked me to step up, and so I had to, do what China did. And I seen, looking up to China, what she did, so I realized that that's what I needed to do in order to help the team out this year.
Yeah, definitely. And I definitely think that you've stepped up in a big way, not only from your conditioning. I mean, you live up to go as hard as you can for as long as you can. And sometimes that may not be very long, but you're going to go hard. And then kind of the first 3 games, Kaylee, talk about where, you probably would agree you haven't played your best basketball, but
not.
Your teammates, you don't have to have that pressure of saying, I have to do this, to where we are asking that as a freshman, but now sophomore, we're like, hey, you can relax. You got some good teammates around you. Can you kind of talk about the growth of your teammates around you in the openness of they've got your back?
I mean, it's great. Obviously, like you said, I have not played at all how I've been wanting to play, but it's great to come in every single game and be like, well, I don't have to go out there and score this amount of points or do this and do that, but I can just contribute in other ways because I know that I can rely on them to do the other things that I haven't been able to do yet, but hopefully we'll be able to do eventually. But yeah, it's great to just have that athleticism, the talent out there, just to be able to rely on them each and every game.
Yeah, and now that is definitely not a dig at Kaylee whatsoever, because her expectations of herself is to have all these crazy statistical categories at the top. So whenever she scores 12 and has 6 rebounds and 5 assists, that's considered not a great game for her.
Right.
So Asia, on the flip side of that, I mean, you literally scored 0 points one game and scored 20 the next, but the game that you scored 0 in, you played great defense, you got the ball to the people we need to get the ball to, you played your role. Your role that game was, hey, we don't need you to score. You didn't cry, you didn't mope about it. And then the next game we said, hey, man, we may need you to get our back on this. Can you just show everybody that you're that good? And then you scored 20 points. Can you talk about your willingness to play whatever role is needed?
I mean, during, the Pikeville game, I knew that going into there, I didn't need to score because my teammates were doing it, very well. And so I knew that if I got the ball up the floor and we got the ball inside or, we kicked it out, we were going to be able to score either way. And so I knew that I didn't need to score. But, at Rochester, they were keying on certain players, and so I felt the need that, I've got to step up. Like, this is my time, to help my team the way that they help me every game. They give me the assist. In that game yesterday, I was giving them the assist because, I was putting the ball in the basket when we needed it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then early on, you both are sophomores. We start 3 sophomores in the lineup with you two and then Harley as well. Can you, Kaylee, can you kind of talk about, the tightness of that entire group outside of just all your other teammates, but just the sophomore group that you've came in with, and we're asking a lot out of the sophomores.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to have them. I mean, last year we had Zoe as well, and we were close with her, but we lost her. But I mean, other than like Harley, I knew like coming into college, I knew pretty much all of the freshmen. Yeah. So it's nice because we already kind of had that bond coming in. So we're all super close. I couldn't ask for a better class, honestly.
Yeah, and same question to you, Asia.
I mean, yeah, coming in, me and Darnell played together when we were younger and through camps and stuff, so we already had, a little bit of chemistry, and I had no idea who Harley was coming in, but once we got here and, we started playing together and we started bonding, I mean, it was instant, and like Darnell said, I mean, I couldn't think of a better class to, grow up with.
Oh, Harley. Man, none of us knew who she was until she got here, but I'll tell you what, I'm glad she's here.
We know her now.
Yeah, we definitely. If you don't, you'll hear her. She's very loud, but that's all right. We love her. So looking forward, so we got we finally get a home game, and we only play 4 home games before Christmas, and we've already played 1. So we've got Friday and Saturday. We get to play a ranked team in front of our fans, and our fans show up. I think we have one of the best fan bases around for a small college men or women's program. Can you kind of talk about the opportunity for these next 2 games with a new poll coming out and what our mindset is, Kaylee?
I mean, these next 2 games are huge, especially with that new poll coming out. We just got to capitalize on each game. Obviously, take Bryan first, focus on their scouting report, learn them really well, and then we got to flip switch and just really get into Cumberland and stuff like that. But I'm super excited. I mean, to play ranked teams, receiving votes teams, the Mid-South team as well. But I'm excited. How can you not be excited when it's at home, especially at the Bevo, tons of fans. Just an exciting weekend to come.
Easy trip for your family to come to.
Right, yeah, just an hour.
Asia, same thing with you. I mean, where is the goal and focus for this game on Friday? You get to play a top 15 team on your court with new polls in the future coming out, like a week later. So where's the focus and mindset of the University of Rio Grande women's basketball team?
I mean, I think our whole mindset now is, we have to play together. We realized that last night, as long as we stay together, we will be okay. And as long as we talk to each other and we get each other through things, we'll be all right. So I think that we're all focused going in because we all want to come out with the victory. We all want to come out on top. And with the new polls coming up, I mean, winning this weekend would just boost us even more. And our fan base is amazing. Not one game will you not hear somebody from our fans, cheering for us or yelling. I mean, it never stops, and that's probably one of the best things about being here at Rio.
Yeah, we'll kind of wrap up on that part of it. Coming from high school, your whole community usually comes out, and it's a great feel. I don't care what college you're being recruited by. When you go watch small college basketball, it's not that high school community vibe.
Right.
But Rio proves that differently because of all the things that they can provide and how our students even come out. Our students and the family, they just come out. Can you tell me what it's like to play at home in front of your home crowd, students and fans and family?
It's great. I mean, not only do our families come out, but the students as well. Like you said, the student base is crazy. I just always go back to that Midway game. I mean, I swear they helped us get that win, but it's great because we have a lot of local girls, so it's easy for our families to come and support us, and it's so fun having that fan base.
Yeah, definitely. Asia, same thing, and maybe a pitch to get some people out for Friday.
I mean, like Darnell said, the fan base is incredible. The students, all they want to do is support us. If we support them, they'll support us, and they never fail to show out and show up the way that they know how. And with our parents being so close, it's more of a home-like environment for the majority of us girls. So having our families there just helps, and all of our families treat each other the same way. But I also think that if you're here Friday, you'll get a special gift.
Oh.
That's a dub.
Oh, man. Well, you've heard it here. Asia Williams has made a prediction on the game. We're going to stamp it and put it out for everybody to see. She has predicted a win. So come out Friday and see if that prediction is correct. We'll see you at 5 o'clock on Friday, and we play at 3 o'clock on Saturday. So please come out, support these ladies with their teammates. I promise you won't be disappointed, and it'll be worth whatever the admissions is. We don't charge enough for you to come and watch these ladies because this is fun basketball, and we put on a good product. So we will see you this weekend at the Bevo, and we'll see you next Wednesday for the talk show. See you later.